So in the history of Vaishnava saints, there lived a great saintly personality about 160 years ago. His name was Vamsidasa Babaji. Babajis are the fully renounced saints. They are a special case. Unlike Goshtanandis, Babajis are called Bhajananandis. They don't preach and they don't really accept any disciples either. So it is also a great coincidence that his disappearance day is coming on this Thursday, August 12th. As we won't have class on August 13th, today is a very appropriate day, I thought, to talk about his life and teachings. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuddhapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadudam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Cha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaye Priyatmane Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana iti namine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Vanja Kalpatarupcheta Krupa Sindhupya Evacha Paditanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneswari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So Vamsidasa Babaji appeared in the village of Majidpur in 1859 in the Jamalpur district of Bangladesh. Majidpur is now it's not far away from Navadvip. He was born in a fisherman's family. His father was Sri Sanatana Malla Brahma, mother Srimati Sarva Sundari. His birth name was actually Bhairav Chandra. He also had 2 brothers and 4 sisters. Now, being born as a very poor fisherman, he lived through severe poverty. So there was no question of any education at all. He could not read or write anything. He knew only fishing and selling them in the fish market. His only possession was a small towel that he wore when going for fishing. However, there was something very special with him. Even though he was a fisherman, born as a fisherman, catching and selling fishes, every day after returning home, he would visit a Gauranithai temple in Jamalpur. So there, sitting far away, because he was a fisherman, in that Gauranithai temple, he used to hear Harikatha from a saintly person who came in the line of Srila Narottam Das Thakura. He was so attracted to hear the Harikathas from that saint. And by constantly hearing, slowly he was becoming like a renounced person. However, even though he did not like a married life, he was forced to get married by his parents. And later even he had a child. But his mind did not belong to any family life. And one day, he left his wife and the child and came to the shelter of that saint and accepted him as his guru. He was initiated with the name Vamsidasa. He lived with his guru in Jamalpur for a few days, worshipping Radha Krishna deities and hearing more Harikatha's from him, and learned so many things. The spiritual seed in his heart started to sprout. As days went by, he was inclined for a fully renounced order of life. However, he came back to his hometown, Majidpur, for a short time and lived there for 3 years. Then the transformation in his life started so intensely. He was so interested in visiting all the holy dhams, holy places such as Vrindavan, Navadvip and all the places. So he set out a journey, big journey, to see all the holy places by himself. He was now completely out of his family and family life. His perception of the world had completely changed after he was initiated. He lived like a Babaji and came to be known as Vamsidasa Babaji. He was always immersed in high bhava. He started to talk as if the Lord was standing near to him. This was one of his very special quality. By seeing his intense devotion, many people tried to help him. Some gave him deities. Eventually he could have several deities. The pictures shown here are far from real. I just put for the sake of showing some. So he had one small Balagopala, Laddu Gopal, and a set of Gauranitai. They are actually 3 feet high. They are all made of wood actually. And one Radha Govinda. They are about 6 inches tall, made of Ashtadhatu. Of all those, he was so attached to Balagopala. Wherever he traveled, he would take his Balagopala deity in his hands. Once when he went to Vrindavan, he visited Gokul, the place where Lord Krishna appeared. And he came back and said, "Oh, I saw the place where my Balagopala was born. And I saw where Mother Yashoda was feeding him. And where Nanda Baba was living. And where Krishna was crawling. I touched all the stones. But I did not see Krishna there." By saying that, he was weeping in front of the deities. But in Babaji's eyes, the deities were not made of any brass or any metal. If one thinks that way, it will be a brass-made idol for you forever. But if one elevates his consciousness on Krishna, the deity indeed will talk to you. It is not only like Sakshi Gopal. Every deity can talk to his pure devotees. Then eventually he came to Navadvip and stayed there for most of his life. Initially he did not have any place to stay. He was living under one tree another after. Later, someone saw his condition and wanted to help. He made a small hut for him to stay. The hut was very simple, with mud walls and covered on top with thatches and leaves. The house did not even have any door. It was always open. So Babaji did not have to carry any keys or anything. Totally carefree life. Babaji hardly had any possession in this world. He even abandoned his little torn bath towel he initially had when he was a fisherman. And now he was wearing only a loin cloth. To change it when it gets torn out, he would go to the nearby burial grounds and get thrown away cloth from the dead bodies. His possessions were only to serve for Krishna. He did not have anything for him. So he had 2 brass pots, few mud pots, 1 plate, 1 glass, some small cups, 1 Panchapatra cup, a bell and the conch shell. That was it. But Vamsidasa Babaji was the richest in his heart. Not with material richness. Who cares? So, who is richest in the world? But he was the all rich in his heart. But the most rare one he had was Krishna Bhakti. He was intensely absorbed in talking to the deities. This was his favorite thing. Directly talking to the deities were his primary activity every day. He would keep on talking to the deities without stop and listening to what the deities also respond back. There was no bathing of deities, or changing their dresses. He never put them to sleep or woke them up. There was no regular feeding to the deities either. When he cooked, he would feed the deities. Otherwise, nothing for the deities. When it rained, because he never used to give any baths to the deities. When it rained, he used to bring all his deities out and remove their so-called dresses and make them to sit in the rain. And he would say, I am now giving you a bath. Then he put back the very same dress, not new one. Very same dress, again and again and again. He had only one set of dresses for them because whoever gave the deity that came with. And this is the lifetime dresses. So the deities had only one lifetime dress forever. And they got bathing only when it rained. And sometimes there used to be very heavy rains and floods. His hut used to leak a lot. There used to be more water inside the hut rather than outside. To give protection for his deities, what he would do? He would bundle them, carry all his deities and keep them under a flipped abandoned boat near Ganga. And his hut had no doors and no lock, as I talked about. It was always open. When Babaji was not inside, many thieves used to come and rob. Even though there was hardly anything to rob. What did he have? Nothing to rob. The thieves must be really too crazy to steal anything from there. However, no one ever robbed any of his deities because all the deities looked what? With some old daddy dresses and like beaten up and abandoned, look they had. So even the robbers did not want to take them. And sometimes the cows and animals will enter the hut and make a havoc. But Babaji never felt that it was his mistake to really keep it open. Instead, what he would do? He used to come and then complain and chastise the deities. See, Gaur Nitai and my Gopal, see, you are the owner. But you simply do not have any responsibility. See, this is what will happen when the owner is not careful. When are you going to learn taking responsibility? See, he thinks that they are responsible, not him. So then after a while he thinks about, I know, Gaura is very, very soft-hearted. And that's why he gives away everything to his Dhamvasis. Navadvip Vasis, they come and then rob. So this is his Dham, Navadvip. And after all, I am an outsider. On another time, 2 brass pots were stolen. Babaji used to cook for Gaura and Nitai on those 2. Babaji had to punish Gaura and Nitai for their irresponsibility causing for a theft. So he scolded at them and did not give them anything to eat that day. The punishment had its effect. The very next day, someone quickly came quietly and delivered one of those pots. Babaji said, wow, this small pot returned is Nitai's. So he will be fed today. If Gaura wants to eat, he must also bring his pot back. Baba always did whatever he said. He cooked and offered Bhoga only to Nitai. Gaura drew a long face and he kept looking at Nitai eating his Naivedyam. In the meantime, another man also came and quietly delivered. He just put the other pot also. Babaji then cooked in that pot, then offered Bhoga to Gaura too. When Gaura also had eaten, he said with the tears in his eyes, do I ever want to punish you? But both of you are so naughty and not taking any responsibility. You are not protecting your own properties. Don't you know that I have now become old and cannot bear it all? What can I do? See, just look at how he interacts with the deities. He's very advanced. Once, some coins collected by followers, because he never collects any coin. He won't touch coin even. So some coins collected by his followers got stolen. The amount was not very few paisas, but little more. So the followers were crying for the loss. What can I do? This is all gone. Babaji was simply talking to his deities. He said, why bother? One thief gives and another thief takes. Who gave the money? He is also a thief. And who has taken away? He is also a thief. Sometimes Babaji accepted some bananas that really they brought by sincere devotees. He normally, did not want the materialistic people to come and then see him. But sometimes some genuine devotees come. They offer some bananas. He used to hang them on the top of the ceiling in his room to ripe. But you know the rats are everywhere. They somehow used to get over all the way and then get there and they eat that also. Before even they are ripened. Babaji take a stick and then point at the rat and also Balagopal. And he said, the rat, he won't beat the rat. He will say, you rat, you are a thief. And he will point at Balagopal and you are also a thief. So once, when feeding Gauranitai, he said, see, oh Gauranitai, I am getting old. And now, how can I feed you all? For that, immediately Gaura replied. Remember, he was in that level. He could talk to the deities, and all the followers used to, that is their, the entertainment to really see these all the pastimes between Babaji and then the deities. He talks and then, deities hear and the deities respond back. Of course, they could really hear only what Babaji was talking. They could not hear what the deities were talking back. So he was telling, Oh Gaura, see, I am very old. The immediate Gaura replied, Oh Baba, me and Nitai will go out and beg for you. Hearing that, Babaji got so angry because Babaji is a very, very different character. He immediately grabbed a stick and chastised them. You rascals, if you leave from here, I am going to beat you and break your legs. So this is how the interactions used to be. Do you have the guts to really talk to your deities like this? Once, one of the necklace, someone gave a necklace also to the deities. So it was stolen as usual because it was open door. It's like open house. No lock, nothing, no door even. So these thieves, they for them it is actually, it's attraction. So it was stolen. So it was a necklace. So in the evening, Babaji got a clue as who actually came and then stole. So he went to his home, walked to his home. The one who he suspected that he must have really stole. So he demanded for the necklace. But the thief refused to return. And not only that, he pushed Babaji away. And Babaji was about to really fall down, in fact. He got a little hurt. But anyway, Babaji came out with anger. And you won't believe, that very night, that thief and his entire family was found dead with no known reason. Finished. So Babaji was not an ordinary person. The Lordship lived in his heart. Lord Krishna says that if one hurts him, Krishna, he does not care. But if one hurts his devotees, pure devotees, he becomes so furious. You know that Babaji was born in a fisherman's family. So fish was his life before he came to Radha Krishna. After he came to Radha Krishna and then to be taking initiation, for him that was all nonsense. Stool, he completely stopped it. But now he had become an immaculately pure devotee. But one day, a lady selling fish approached him, offering him some choice type of catch for the day. Somehow or other, the Babaji's mind for a moment became attracted to tasting the fish. But he immediately checked himself and became very angry. He first shouted at the woman to get away. That woman ran away for her life by seeing Babaji's anger. But Babaji was not happy for whatever the moment of thing that that came in his mind. He wondered, how could this happen? How could this happen to me? I have surrendered my life to the deities. Immediately he rushed to his room and straight away, to talk to his deities. I have surrendered my life to you, and I am under your protection, and still this happens. Why are you not protecting me? This is your fault. He became so furious. He not only went storming into his bhajan kutir, even by seeing these so many people gathered, he fussed and fumed at his deities inside. After a while, Babaji came out. He bringing all his deities tied by a rope. He took all the deities, put it in tied in a long rope. He carried them to the nearby Ganga. He attached a long rope, that particular long rope, to the bundle to deities, and threw the deities into the Ganges, and he kept the end of the rope under his foot. What? He was punishing. He was giving punishment to his deities. For what? For not protecting him from avoiding that temptation. When one man, we inquired, Babaji, what are you doing there? Babaji was angry, and then he took a piece of rock and threw at him. So he ran away. So after hearing this incident, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to see Babaji. Hey, what is this? And he saw the topmost bhava of the Babaji. Anyway, after the punishment, Babaji took the deities back to his room. But this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was telling something about the Babaji. He warned his disciples to keep away from Babaji. Why? Because those devotees may not be understanding the high level of bhava that, then they will try to mimic him. So also he arranged to send prasadam every day to Babaji, and devotees taking turn go on bicycle and deliver it every day daily to Babaji. Once he wanted to make a big feast for a Janmashtami. Big feast. Very big feast, he thought in his heart. But then he realized that he has to buy vegetables and something, whatever. So what did he do? He needed some money. But for Babaji, money is the most scariest thing than Yama. He is afraid of touching the coin, even, that is scariest part for him. However, what to do? He was trying to see if there are any coins in his hut. He found few, just 1 or 2 paise. He took those few paises and went to the vegetable market running. I am going to cook and make a feast for what? My deities and Gopal, my Gopal, Balagopal, and my Radha Govinda, that's the name of his deity, and Gauranitai, singing big and big. And he went there. And he went and asked a merchant, here is some money, give me vegetables. And this merchant saw, after seeing his very little, few paisas, he laughed at Babaji. Oh Babaji, for these paisa I cannot give anything. Not even a single bit. Go away. Don't bother me, please go away. So Babaji was wondering, what to do? What to do for the Janmashtami feast? Nothing. He could not buy even a bit of vegetables. Then on the side he saw some piles of thrown up rotten tomatoes and vegetables. Remember when in the vegetable market, at the end of the day, when things are really rotten, right, they really throw it on the side, so that then it's like a garbage. So he went there and carefully picked some and brought them. Believe or not, he made a meal out of rotten tomatoes and thrown out vegetables. He made a Janmashtami Naivedyam and he offered. That was the Janmashtami feast for the deities. The deities relished the feast that Babaji made from waste vegetables and fruits. On another Janmashtami, he was in Baleshwar. Baleshwar is a town in the north Orissa. On the day, because it's coming Janmashtami that day, he didn't have anything to do. And the midnight he said to Gopal, Oh Gopal, last year I gave you some palm fruit. This year I will give you some mango. But where? How can the mango come? Gopal, don't be impatient. Mango is coming to you right now. You won't believe. Within 10 minutes, a Brahmana teacher named Jogendra Mukherjee arrived. How? With what? With some nice mangoes in his hands. He said, "Oh Babaji, I just woke up from a dream. In the dream that, somebody was telling that a sadhu wants a mango. Go immediately buy, and then so I immediately woke up in the midnight. I went there to the market and knocked the door so that I could really buy some mango. And I knew that it's only you are the only sadhu I know. You must be the one. So I brought it to you." So Krishna had in that Janmashtami with mango fruits as wished by Babaji. Babaji had no concept of time. He was so busy in his own world, lost in his intense devotional feelings. So his deities never had any regular Naivedyam. Where is the time for Naivedyam? It's like, remember some houses, they take the phone and then they start the prajalpa, all these on the phone calls and talking, and what happens? No meal, nothing. It goes 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, no meal. But here it is actually gossip, but there it is intense devotional exchanges going on between Babaji and the deities. So his deities never had any regular Naivedyam at all. Once it was too late to offer, and finally finished his cooking, when everything was ready to offer, he took the pot and went near the deities to offer. But he saw something on the face of the deities. He got so upset. He got so angry. He said, "Just because I am late, you went to Vrindavan and went to the Radha Govindaji temple, and there you ate the sweet rice and came back? I am seeing the leftover sweet rice on your face. You cannot hide it from me. You are impatient. I am not going to feed you anymore." And he took the whole pot and broke it in front of the deities. And he told, "You need to know how to be patient. You can't even do this simple thing." So the associates were watching this fun outside. One of them immediately wrote a letter to the Vrindavan temple priest. Which temple? Radha Govinda's temple. It's there in Vrindavan. Inquiring for what? Inquiring about the offering to Radha Govinda and that particular day and time. Within few days, the reply came. It said, yes, that particular day and time, there was an offering. Indeed, it was sweet rice cooked with palm tree gur. So Babaji was not in this world at all. He was having so many pastimes with his deities. Babaji used to keep on moving from place to place many times. And his associate used to make tents. Tents, wherever he goes, they will actually carry all the necessary things for a tent. They will make a tent so that the deities can rest, and then also Babaji can actually do his regular devotion. What is the regular devotion? Talking. And he always preferred to sitting under banyan trees, to stay under. Sitting under the banyan trees, he used to cry for Krishna. Remembering that Krishna used to call the gopis with his flute. He used to weep and cry and cry and cry. Every banyan tree he used to sit under, this is the same thing he did. He wept and cried. So his heart was so rich with Krishna Prema. He carried the Vrindavan in his heart. He always spoke about himself as a third person. He would say, this Vamsidasa wants to cook now. This Vamsidasa wants to go to Vrindavan. He would never say the words as I, or mine, or me. And Babaji often used to call his deities as Bhaktavatsala Hari. Bhaktavatsala Hari. Always he says, every day the associate will be always here. He will be always saying Bhaktavatsala Hari, Bhaktavatsala Hari. So one who really takes care of his bhaktas. He carried all his deities wherever he went, because when he is doing for the tent, all the deities will also go. He made his own songs. But with what? No rhymings, no rhymes, no tune, no meter, nothing. But he made so many songs. He sung, just like that he sings. And according to the Shastra, this pleases Krishna than thousands of expertly arranged Vedic hymns. Okay? Babaji especially loved the Narottama Das Thakur songs. He used to really hear others singing and he picks up. Once a devotee asked Babaji about how could he get Krishna Bhakti? As usual, because Babaji, whenever any devotees go and then see Babaji, he will never talk to them. Never talk to them. Any question they ask, he will look at the deities and then the answer is given to there only. If at all there is answer. Most of the time there is no answer. Because if the deities, if those who really came are there are materialistic people, he won't even say anything. He even scolded at them and then drove them away. But anyway, here once the devotee asked Babaji how he could get Krishna Bhakti, because Krishna Bhakti is not even demigods cannot get it. As usual, Babaji talked to the deities. He said, to get Krishna Bhakti, it costs only few paisa. That time, paisa, naya paisa. Go and buy the Prarthana book of Srila Narottama Das Thakur and sing the songs by crying, not just ordinarily. You have to cry when you are singing. That's all you have to do. You will get Krishna Bhakti. And Babaji did not want to see anyone coming for personal favors. All the times he used to scold them and chase them away. But sometimes his heart was different. As they sometimes some genuine devotees also used to come. Once a devotee suffering from cholera, because remember those days cholera was fatal in those days, right? So he came and then he lay outside the hut of Vamsidas Babaji, expecting him to cure. Babaji did not respond. For 3 days he was there moaning with intense pain, without eating or drinking anything. Finally, no one knows how Vamsidasa Babaji's mind changed. He grabbed a piece of tulasi leaf from the deities and brought out and he put on the mouth of that person who was about to die in cholera. That is it. The man was instantly at the very moment cured and got up and went home. Another incident. So many are there. I don't want to really keep on talking about miracles. That's not the purpose of thing. Anyway, I will tell one more. A girl about 7 or 8 years old at that time, he used to bring Ganga water every day to Babaji. One time she brought it during a severe storm. So Babaji told her not to go out for some time, wait for there. And then she said, okay, then she could go. But the girl was busy. He started to run out. He was just running out. Babaji immediately jumped outside and grabbed her with her hands and pulled her inside the room. In a moment, there was a big lightning hit on the same spot where she was standing. There are so many incidents. But anyway, let us keep going. Babaji was never touched by this material world at all. He was always living and in connection with the spiritual world. He never talked to any people. This is the thing. He never talked to any people. If at all, even to his closely associated devotees, he hardly talks to them. He talked only to his deities. And that was his main pastime. Talking, laughing and joking with them for hours and hours. Sometimes he would laugh and sometimes he would cry. No one would know why he was laughing or why he was crying. Of course, no one could hear what the deities were talking back to Babaji. He would sing his own bhajans. As I mentioned, no tune, no rhyme and no meter at all. And the deities enjoyed his singing and his compositions. Once, a Panditji came to see Babaji and was very serious to see God. He asked, "Oh Babaji, I want to see the Bhagavan." Babaji never replied. He continued talking to his deities. For every question that the Pandit was asking and again, Babaji was simply looking and talking to the deities, no reply. So the Panditji got so embarrassed and he went back in despair. But he came back again another day. The Panditji again begged and begged, "Oh Babaji, how can I see Bhagavan?" This time Babaji looked at him and said just a short word, "You cry." No more answer. So what he said was, "You cry for Krishna, then you will get him." That's all. Yeah, very easy. So we covered the art of sadhana as a big course. What kind of sadhana did Babaji follow? We will see. What kind of sadhana are we supposed to follow? You take bath, you wear tilak, you dress up with clean clothes, you wake up the deities, you give them bath, and you change their dresses, you decorate the deities, you offer nice naivedyams, you put them to sleep, and you cut your hairs or shave it clean, whatever. Chant as much we can, you can. Targeting for either 32, 64, 128, 190, doesn't matter. And what did Babaji do from these sadhanas? These kind of sadhanas? I will go one by one, matching one by each one. He never took baths in his life. He only wore dirty loin cloth, that even mostly obtained from the burial grounds. He never wore any tilak. He never woke up deities. Even though he got several deities, he never woke them up. He never gave bath to the deities except when there was some rain. And he never changed dresses for the deities because they had same old dirty torn cloth all the time. It's a lifetime dress. He hardly decorated or offered ornaments to his deities. Even when somebody gave something, it was also robbed. His cooking and offering naivedyam was never regular. If he thinks he will cook, if he doesn't think, he won't cook. He never put the deities to sleep. He never cut his hair. Never. He never seemed to chant at all. Except shouting, "Bhaktavatsala Hari, Bhaktavatsala Hari," and his own singing, all the songs and singing and his own songs. In fact, nowhere we see that even he had any chanting beads, anywhere. No bead bag that he ever carried. Okay, so this is sadhana. Yes. He had no concept of time either. Sometimes he would fast for Ekadasi because he happens to know somebody, "Hey, tomorrow Ekadasi." Okay, then he may fast. Then most of the time he will forget. And then sometimes somebody will say, "Hey, remember yesterday was Ekadasi, or day before yesterday was Ekadasi." Oh, then he realizes, "Oh, I forgot to fast for Ekadasi. Okay, let me fast. I will fast for 3 days now." Nothing. No boga for deities, nothing. He doesn't eat anything, he doesn't drink anything. Do you want to follow his sadhana? We can never mimic him. Because he has attained the topmost. All the sadhanas, whatever we are supposed to do, what are we supposed to get? This is the bhava that we are supposed to get. He already got. Once a devotee from Sri Sampradaya visited Babaji. As you know, Sri Sampradaya is the pinnacle of Vaiti Bhakti. They are like caste brahmanas with so many rules and regulations. Babaji was born to a low caste fisherman. You also know the story as how Lord Jagannath kicked out Sripad Ramanujacharya from Jagannath Puri to Kurmakshetra overnight. You know that. I really told about the story. But anyway, here, no one knew what was the intention of the visit by this devotee from Sri Sampradaya. When he came inside the hut, he pointed to the Gauranithai deities. How? With his left finger. With his left finger. And he asked, "What are these? What are these? Where is Narayana?" Note, pointing the left finger on deity of Krishna is a great aparat. Not only to the deity and also to the worshipper. So that means he is committing two aparats. Seva aparat and Vaishnava aparat. Because Babaji also used to say, Vaishnava aparat is the deadliest of all the sins. But Babaji was mainly talking to the deities as usual and said, he was giving honor. Here is one thief and there is a sannyasi. The thief was Balagopal, sannyasi was Gaura. But he asked, where is Narayana? I don't see him. Then Babaji was telling, oh, he used to be here before, but now, no, we don't have him. So the Vaishnava did not understand anything Babaji said. And he thought that Babaji was so barbaric and did not know any rules and regulations. So with anger, he immediately stood up and left the place immediately. नीच जाति नहे कृष्ण भजने अयोग्य सत्कुल विप्र नहे भजने योग्य. A person born in a low family is not unfit for discharging devotional service to Krishna, nor is one fit for devotional service simply because he is born in an aristocratic family of Brahmanas. Whenever Babaji travelled or visited other places, other holy places, his associates used to make a tent for the deities and Babaji to stay, as I mentioned. Once on a full moon night of Ashwini, Vamsidasa Babaji instructed his associates, hey, do not set up any tent. We are going to camp outside in the open tonight. And that night, when the moon was in full brightness, that was a Purnima, about 50 very attractive heavenly damsels descended, and then, they are all dressed in white. They all came and offered obeisances to Vamsidasa Babaji and left without saying anything. All the associates were there. All the associates saw them and wondering who they were. Despite the late hour, they were unescorted. Something that never happens in rural India. And none of the locals had any knowledge of them either. Then the devotees concluded that they were demigoddesses who had come on this auspicious day from higher worlds to get spiritual blessings from Vamsidasa Babaji. Also, some associates have mentioned that when they were with Babaji, months and months, 3 months, whatever, that in Vrindavan, for example, they never saw Babaji going to bathroom. He never, went to pass urine or pass stool, nothing. They never seen. It was greatly baffling to them, even to this day. Once, when Vamsidasa Babaji was visiting Jagannath Puri during a Ratha Yatra, this unique thing happened. He was standing under a nearby tree on the side to see the Ratha Yatra, Radha coming along on the road. The cart was smoothly riding so far. But for some reason, as soon as it came to the place where Babaji was standing, the Radha stopped. It won't move. This is always happening, even now. If Lord wants to really to stay, stop on some place, it will never move. Nobody, doesn't matter how hard you pull, and he won't move at all. So then, despite of efforts, everyone pulling the cart simply would not move. Everyone was wondering why the Lord has stopped at that odd place. Then they found the tree near that place. There was nothing else. And under the tree there was only one person who was this Vamsidasa Babaji. And no one knew who he was. Then they saw that Vamsidasa Babaji was doing something. There was something was going on. He was heavily engaged in talking to Lord Jagannath. So that is why Jagannath stopped there. It was so intense dialogue, going back and forth, laughing and this and joking, all kinds of things. It was so intense that the Radha refused to move. Then after a long conversation, everybody had to wait. Then Vamsidasa came out from the tree and came closer to the Radha. He did not stop talking either. Then more intense talking was there. Conversation was more and more and more. And finally, and when he was done, then he said, all right, okay. So he said, he said, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. And the Radha automatically started moving. The cart magically moved afterwards. So this is the level of the power of the devotee. A devotee, he can control a Lord. This is exactly what we see from the life of this Babaji. Once Vamsidasa Babaji went to The sea. Yeah, in fact, probably around the same time when he was in the Jagannath Puri. So he wanted to give a bath to Balagopala that he was carrying. He wanted to give a bath for some reason. Because no rain that time probably. So, it was probably long time since he really got rain. But he was wondering, there is the ocean. So he rushed to the ocean. And he did not go near the ocean also. He was standing far. And he called the sea. Oh sea, come here. Give him a bath. That is it. Immediately huge waves started to emerge and crossed over the beach, and Vamsidasa was able to bathe his deities right there. In fact, the waves themselves were really bathing anyway. It was there like that, and wave after wave after wave, one after another person, it was coming and coming. And Babaji was really, just giving nice bathing to Balagopal. And after bathing Balagopal to his satisfaction, he said, good, and they wiped, and the waves went back to normal. Everybody who was around could not believe what was happening. Babaji never wanted any money from anyone. He would rather die than to ask anyone for even a single paisa. For him, money was worse than Yama. He never wanted to even touch a coin. His behaviors may be astonishing to many. But think for a moment about this. Why do the Babajis appear in this world? Why do they behave like this? They do not take any disciples either. But then, why do they appear in this world? The reason is that by seeing their life, we will come back to our senses from our madness that we are going through in this world. We get shocked when we learn from them that what is really important, and there is a higher dimension, much more higher than this, all the nonsense what we are doing in this world. And by their own lives, Babajis teach the most important lessons. Their message is very simple. What do they teach? We came here with nothing, and we cannot take anything with us back. You came alone, and you have to go back alone. The only thing we can take with us is your devotion, the bhakti to Krishna. So nothing else is necessary to accumulate. But unfortunately, when we hear Harikatha, we feel it. And after that, the Maya pulls you back again. So it never gets into the brain. Babaji avoided materialistic people at all the costs. People used to come to see him to get material blessings left and right. To anyone who came to get material blessings, he would scold at them, and with what? Bad words, and he drove them away. To avoid even such materialistic people, he even went ahead and put fish bones, so many fish bones around, in front of his hut, and all kinds of meat and everything, all the obnoxious things in front of his hut. Why? That way people will think that this Babaji is really gone, banga, so we should not, he is not Babaji, he is gone, corrupted. That was why he was doing. But even then people flocked to see him. And they used to bring so much of gifts to get his blessings. But Babaji with the anger threw away their gifts into the river. Throw them out. Babaji never looked at them. But he never even looked at those people. He only talked to the deities as his ongoing pastime. Once a greedy brahmachari visited Vamsidasa Babaji for material blessings. And Babaji took a big stone and threw at him and shouted, if you want to please me, then never return here again. You should not see me again. Another man came with the Hanuman mantra capsule. Remember, like nowadays people put all kinds of capsule there, that tied on his neck. He removed it and gave it to Babaji. Babaji was looking at it. He just placed it there and, oh Babaji, please bless me. I want to become like a Hanuman, strong like Hanuman. And also, Babaji saw that and then he was so upset. He scolded and grabbed the capsule and threw it far away. The man, ran away in fear, picked that up, completely gone, vanished. So people for selfish needs will do anything and worship anything, do anything, worship anyone. They would not know the glories of high class Krishna devotees. This is why Babaji never talked to the people, and he did not accept anything. Actually, all the Babajis are like that. They are sick of seeing worldly minded people. One Sri Gaura Kishore Dasa Babaji Maharaj, he said, I am happy to live in a toilet than with any such people. Yeah, he did that. He went in and locked inside the toilet to avoid these materialistic people coming for blessings. He said, the stinging smell of toilet is way better than the people with stinging desires. They do not want Krishna. In fact, worldly people can never get Krishna. They only want the stinging stool of material blessings. That is the reason they all run to every single demigod. In fact, not just one demigod, but one after another for their sense enjoyment. They have so many demigods to choose from. Out of 330 million demigods, 33 crores. You should see some houses also. See how many gods they worship. You may not even believe it. They have a mall of so many gods. And if one god does not work for them, they move to another god. And that doesn't work, then move to another god. Why? There are 330 million demigods to try. They are hungry for their materialistic possessions.
I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mahal, I have a mahal, I have a mahal with all the gods. I have a mahal, I have a mahal, I have a mahal with all the gods. If one god doesn't work for me, I do bring and add more god. If one god doesn't work for me, I do bring and add more god. I have crores of gods to choose from, and I have Lord Jesus too. I have crores of gods to choose from, and I have Lord Jesus too. I have a mall of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mall of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods.
And everyone is greedy for comfortable and rich life. They do not want any obstacles in their enjoyments. Nothing. They find so many excuses to eat meat and drink wine even in the churches. These things can never give Krishna Bhakti. Never.
I have a God to remove my vigna, so I live like King Jagannath. I have a God to remove my vigna, so I live like King Jagannath. I have gods to change my karma, so I don't worry this janma. I have gods to change my karma, so I don't worry this janma. I have a mall of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mall of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have Baba and Mama gods who eat meat, so I am not odd. I have Baba and Mama gods who eat meat, so I am not odd. If gods eat meat and do drink wine, why can't I kill for my tongue? If gods eat meat and do drink wine, why can't I kill for my tongue? I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods.
You all can see how many people show up for Krishna bhajans. And see how many people show up in Satyanarayana Puja, Lakshmi Puja, Ganesh Puja, so many pujas. They really like flocks. People pay so much money even and fight to get a seat to do these pujas. For what purpose? For wealth, for health, and for comfortable living.
Lakshmi Durga Ganesh Puja, Saraswati Satyanarayan Puja. Lakshmi Durga Ganesh Puja, Saraswati Satyanarayan Puja. Reciting Sahasra Nama in bold, I ask wealth and health and gold. Reciting Sahasra Nama in bold, I ask wealth and health and gold. I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods.
Their only purpose is to enjoy in madness. Buy this, buy that, drink this, drink that, eat this, eat that, and refute and mutate all the Shastras to their favor. Their favor.
I must enjoy now, not then, as much I can before I die. I must enjoy now, not then, as much I can before I die. Hell and heaven are only in our mind. Foolish people don't know this. Hell and heaven are only in our mind. Foolish people don't know this. I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods. I have a mala of all the gods. I have a home with so many gods.
And while the demigods can give the stools they want, Krishna does not cheat his devotees. He does not give what they ask. He gives only what will be good for his devotees. But because Krishna does not give them stool to eat, people do not worship Krishna. In South India, people think that if you have Krishna with the flute in his hands, he would blow away all the money from the house. Look at. Some even proclaim that Krishna is just an avatar of Vishnu. They chant Vishnu Sahasranam and ask for wealth, health, virya, this and that. You praise Vishnu only 1,000 names, but you are asking 10,000 things back. People even offer gold and petals when chanting the 1,000 names. This is business, bogus, big business. They will never be attracted to Krishna consciousness or approach Krishna Bhaktas.
Why should I worship Lord Krishna, who does not give what I want? Why should I worship Lord Krishna, who does not give what I want? Why should I go to his bhakta, who wastes time by chant and chant? Why should I go to his bhakta, who wastes time by chant and chant?
So this is the contrast between Babaji and what the worldly people. So you all have been listening to the life story of Vamsidas Babaji. But what did we learn from his life? If we compare us with him, we find so many lessons. So many lessons. His behavior was so opposite to any worldly people. Number one, we love to associate with materialistic people. But Babaji ran far away from the materialistic people. Number two, we hesitate to be away from family and relation even for a moment. But Babaji renounced it without any hesitation. Three, we hunger to amass wealth at any cost, working even overtime, night after night. But Babaji ran away from money at any cost. For him, money was worse than Yama, the god of death. 4. We protect our homes and money with lock and key and insurance. We have so many ways we are trying to protect. But Babaji did not even have a door. He did not even lock anything to really protect anything. Number 5. We talk and gossip with worldly people, but strictly silent in front of the deities. Deities, in front of the deities, we hardly come and spend even little time, and then after puja is done, you close it and gone. But we love to gossip with the world people for gone all the time. Prajalpa, talking this and that, all kinds of stuff. But Babaji did exactly the opposite. He talked to the deities and not to the people. See? And 6, we always think of I and mine. This is mine. This is my property. This is my family. This is my home. This is my job. This is my. We think that we are the sender. But Babaji always referred himself as a third person. See? He never used the word I, mine or me, nothing. 7, we worship deities with formality but no real love. Why? Because we are trying to ask favor from them. That's the problem. But Babaji had no formality. Did he ever ask anything for him? In fact, he was punishing the deities. It's the other way. So Babaji had no formality. Look at how close he was. So he even chastised the deities, even punished the deities. But can we mimic and follow him? Once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, as I mentioned, when he met, he said he's in very high level of devotion. So he told, never try to mimic Babaji. Babaji lived on this earth for about 85 years. On March 1944, Vamsidasa Babaji returned to his hometown of Majidpur, which is in Bangladesh. He did not actually enter the town because he is renounced. As the tradition of renunciates, he should not go back to his hometown. I have a big, his home family, so he has to be outside only. So he lived in the outskirts, away from his family, and finally on a Chaturthi, July 23rd, 1944, Srila Vamsidasa Babaji Maharaj concluded his earthly pastimes and resumed his service to Lord Krishna in Goloka. At the left side, what you really see is a very simple samadhi in Majidpur in Bangladesh, where he was born. At the top right, you see the same place where he had the Bhajan Kutir, which I was showing in my slides as just to mimic. So that was a place where the Bhajan Kutir was there and lived there and had the deities and talking to the deities there. Now they have built a very nice temple there. Also, you see that one of his followers, Chati Shekhara Prabhu, if you see that, he's holding a peg from the tent. Remember when they put the tent, they put the corners, like actually wooden block, like it's just hammer it out. So that he, as a souvenir, he had one of the tent, because probably he was also helping in making the tent. So that is the same thing, same peg from one of the tents that he used to remake for Babaji whenever he was on a tour. Sri Jati Shekhara Prabhu also composed few wonderful songs about Vamsidasa Babaji. These are the set of first verses from his 2 songs to conclude today's program. Ke beda ke Vamsidasa Jamuna Kuline दाके गद गद स्वरे कृष्णचंद्र रात्रि दिने दाके वंशी उच्च करी भगत वत्सल हरी सेश्वर जंकर वंशी अंदर आसे तोरी. This is in Bengal. So sorry, yeah, it's in Bengali. Sometimes Vamsidasa calls out on the bank of the Yamuna. Day and night he calls out Krishna Chandra in a faltering voice. So he goes through the emotions, calling out loudly. As I told you, always, every day or something, you say Bhaktavatsala Hari. So calling out loudly Bhaktavatsala Hari, that sound echoes within his heart and makes it tremble. Avaduta Chudamani Vamsidasa Gunamani Sri Gaura Sundara Parishada Bimala Bhakti Devi Sri Charana Sada Sevi Tucha Kale Jogi Jnani Pada. What is Parisada means? Associate. So, Srila Vamsidasa Babaji is a gem of transcendental qualities, the crust jewel of Avadutas. Who are Avadutas? Don't follow any rules and regulations. Don't have any concept of time. They have nothing, no ownership, nothing. They are called Avadutas. They are liberated souls who are beyond scriptural regulations. And an associate of Lord Chaitanya, Parisada. So he actually was the associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then where did he really come from? From the Goloka? He came from the Swaita Dvipa. So because in Goloka, Brindavan is where the gopis are there. Goloka is the outskirt where all the Varsali Bhava, everything is there. And then the side is basically the Swaita Dvipa where Lord Chaitanya, they are all residing. So that is the place. That is his place. By constantly serving the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi, who is spotless, being free from all contaminations. What contamination? He doesn't follow any jnana. He did not follow any yoga. He did not follow any karma. Only bhakti. So the Vamsidasa made the position of jnana and yoga simply dust, insignificant. All glories to Sri Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj. All glories to the Vaishnavas. We are all fortunate to hear the Harikatha about one of the highest devotees of the Lord Gauranga. He was originally an associate, Parsada of Lord Gauranga. We will now conclude our Harikatha with the bhajan from Bhakti Vinod Thakura, Gaura Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vanja kalpa darupchecha, kripa sindupyevacha, paditanam pavanepyo, vaishnavepyo, namo namaha.